question, which is, can you introduce yourself, please?
Hello, so my name is Rosalind Hardy, and I'm a young person with Asperger syndrome, diagnosed with Asperger syndrome.
Thank you. And my name's Melanie Layton, and I manage the SendAS North Yorkshire service, just to say hello to you properly. So the first thing I wanted to ask you, Rosalind, is can you say what age you were diagnosed, and did it make a difference to you and your family in any way?
So I was diagnosed at age 7. I was quite lucky in that way, as it was quite early on I was diagnosed. I mean, nowadays they try and make it even earlier, which I think is better. The earlier, the better. And I think it made a real difference to my family, my mum and dad's. I have to say, when I was a child in school and things, I was a very sort of aggressive child, bit of a nightmare child. My words, not my parents. My mum's always like, I don't want people thinking that they're going around saying I was a nightmare child. They're not, it's me. So I, as a young child, used to really lash out at other young people because I had a lack of communication, really struggled to speak till I was about 7, I would say, and beyond, but not. It slowly got better, but I think it was a frustration of not being able to communicate and not understanding like how to make friends. I really wanted to make friends, but really not having that understanding of how that actually being aggressive is not the right thing to do, and to like try and communicate with them. But again, that was quite difficult for me. So yeah.
So you've overcome that by the sound of it.
Yeah, and I have.
Are there any other challenges kind of then or now that you'd like to share?
So I would like to share. So I had speech problems, really running around, very disruptive especially in my first school. In my second school, they taught me the understanding kind of things. They sort of made sure I really got that understanding and stopped taking things literally. They helped with that. That was really good. And then in my secondary school, they really helped me academically a bit more and get more independent. So I felt every school was fantastic to me, but I still had ongoing challenges, and I still have them now. So my biggest challenge, I would say now, is my fears. I've got a real phobia of balloons, Christmas crackers, thunder, fireworks, party poppers, even champagne bottles opening. I really don't like that because that's far too loud for me. Really sensitive in that way. And one story, the cracker story, I will say, is in one of my schools. We had Christmas dinner at Christmas time, and they wanted Christmas crackers. And their solution to my fear was to put me in a classroom on my own, with the teacher popping her head round the door, making sure I was okay. And I think that was a really bad solution, and I think they could have done it another way. Maybe they could have had crackers before and then get rid of the debris and I go in, or crackers afterwards when I come out, or even the parcel thing. I love your idea and the earlier parcel thing of doing it differently, so we all get a little treat, but in a different way. So there are always different ways to make sure everything's included. But so that's the biggest challenge. I have other little challenges, like going into new environments is quite tricky. Sometimes judging if and when to tell people about my Asperger syndrome because of understanding. I would say more people understand now, but I don't want to be judged or treated any differently as a result. So, but actually, I put out a video the NHS made a video with me and put it all together and helped me put it all together, and I put that out on my Facebook and my Instagram and publicly. So now it's easier to tell people about Asperger syndrome, because that understanding, I feel like that was a good and good learning curve for me, that there is definitely more understanding out there. So
it's interesting you're calling it Asperger's, because obviously that's the older definition, isn't it, than autism that it would be now. So many young people now, or even children that are being diagnosed now, would be called autistic.
And that's actually another challenge for me, because I kind of identify with having Asperger syndrome.
Okay.
So I'm not autistic, or I'm on the autistic spectrum, I'd say, but I have Asperger syndrome, and I think it's a real shame to take that identity away from young people with Asperger syndrome that can, because it's slightly it's different in a way. We're all so different. So yeah, it's tricky.
Yeah, it is tricky, isn't it? Because sometimes, as you say, it's taken away from you by kind of big services, the NHS, whatever it is. It's not about yourself, and it's having that kind of control, isn't it, of it? Yeah,
exactly. It is.
Yeah, what a shame. So what I said to you earlier, Rosalind, was that Sundays are doing a big kind of aspirations and celebration month for August, and that's why I've invited you in today. And I just wanted to ask you, in terms of your own aspirations and hopes, can you remember what you did aspire to for your future when you were finishing secondary school? Do you remember what you were thinking you were, or hoping that you were going to move towards?
I really loved animals. That was my big thing, I think. And I wanted to work or be with animals in any shape or form. So I kind of went along that route. I kind of wanted to see if I go along that route. And so I went to college afterwards. It was mainstream college, first mainstream for me. I wasn't ready in school. I had all special needs schools, because that definitely suited me. We wouldn't have been able to cope with mainstream. But I went to a mainstream college, which is fantastic. Got more independent skills.
Very good.
And it generally worked out well. But so I did, my first year was equine studies, so horses, because I love horses. I've always helped at my local stables, been there for about 21 years now, sort of helping and riding. So many years, since I was 13. So that gives away my age. 34, I don't mind, because I'm young. I don't have to worry about age now. But so I started off equine studies at college, and then animal care for the rest of the years. And that was fantastic. That was fantastic, getting to know different variety of animals as well. Everything from, I was a snake fan, so it didn't bother me, but holding snakes to learning about birds, they had a whole variety of animals there, so it was fantastic. And I did go along the animal route, but now I'm kind of more, I kind of love helping young people like myself, or a variety of young people. I work for Achievement for Children with Grace Over and Annabelle, and that's fantastic. That's really enabled me. I was part of the team before as a young person with special needs, so I was doing recruitment, so helping. So as a young person, I was interviewing people with a panel of young people, interviewing people that were going to work with disabled young people like ourselves, or like others like us. So that was fantastic, and doing presentations and things, and that's where it all sort of started.
And then what that was called again?
Achieving for Children.
Achieving for Children.
So
Excellent.
Achieving
Okay.
for Children, which is fantastic. It's the Kingston and Richmond borough,
Okay.
and it's really fantastic. I now work for the team, so I work like supporting young people to do recruitment and presentations and any sort of groups that getting easy information together, so it's easy for young people to read. I help support young people to give their views, so it's a really important job, and actually I love that. It's fantastic. I do animals still, because I still work with horses. I still help horses and ride, and then I've got the young people. I've got my fantastic job, and also that I went along with Tom Quilter from NCB, which is National Children's Bureau.
Yeah.
He invited me and Joe Fortley along, who's my friend with autism, along to present around the country, around England, which was fantastic. We did it as a training day, and we got to do, Joe and I got to do our presentations along with it. About 10 sessions over 10 weeks, so one per week or something, or a couple per week. And we got to go to like Manchester, Birmingham, York, Taunton. I think that's the second group. Yeah. So that's fantastic. Yeah, you met. So it's fantastic being able to do that. And we did it again with a parent of a autistic boy, so Isabel, who we talked more about autism and post-16 about. So again, around different areas of the country, up north, like south, very south of England. But yeah, it's fantastic, and doing London as well. It's fantastic, fantastic experience as well. And
Definitely.
I'd never really stayed away from family before, and stayed overnight. So it was good for me. It was good independence for me, really. It was good. We did it with support, and it was great independence. So yeah, fantastic.
It sounds such a big experience. Amazing. Yeah. Thank you. So can you think of anyone or anything that really made a positive difference in your life, and why?
That's a good question. I would say my parents made a fantastic positive influence, because they were always there for me, and they've always supported me. They've always made sure I still live with my parents, so I get a lot of support from them, and it's just been fantastic. And also my sister Catherine and my brother-in-law James have been very supportive. Have always been supportive, and I would say my family are fantastic in that way, because they make sure I am able to do these things. I'm able to keep positive as well. They've always been positive. Like when my mum first found out I got Asperger syndrome, she told a few friends at a gathering, and they were like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, that's not good." My mum was like, "Hang on, no, this is brilliant. That means we've now found out, so we can get her the support we need." I'm so positive about it. I mean, sometimes they were worried about my future, because they thought, oh, they just wanted, my mum said, oh, I just wanted Rosalind to be loved, and just worried when I was like lashing out and at other children, worried that I wouldn't be loved because of my inappropriate behaviour. But actually I grew out of that, and I think they're rather proud now, so
fantastic.
it's good.
Fantastic. And I know that you do have some really strong support behind you now, so clearly you are loved now, which is fantastic to see the change for you as well. So I'm going to ask you one more thing here, which is, when I was actually Googling to find you, Rosalind, I noticed that on your name you have the initials BCA and a little tiny E next to it. And can you just tell me what that means? I'm just curious.
So that means, very excitingly, I'll start from the beginning. So firstly, Joe Fortley nominated me to get a British Citizen Award, and I was like, oh, that's that's fantastic. I wasn't sure what it was, and I looked it up, and it's British Citizen Award that they give at the House of Lords. So it's it was really fantastic, and it's for people that have contributed a lot towards society, and so yeah, it's fantastic. And out of thousands of applicants, like Joe really wrote pages and pages towards my nomination, really made the effort and time to put my nomination out there and try and get me that award, which was incredibly kind of him. Very, very kind. He's a really good friend. And it meant that they chose, one of the people they chose was me to get a British Citizen Award, which is amazing. I couldn't believe it. So on the day, me and my parents came, and Joe himself, obviously, who nominated me. Of course he came. He was definitely invited. He was the first one who had to come, definitely. And we went to the House of Lords to get the medal, first of all. Tim Vincent, which is old Blue Peter presenter, which I remember him actually on Blue Peter, so it was quite a good one for me. Yeah. Tim Vincent, so it's great. Later on I did ask him, oh, when were you in the 90s sometime? He was on Blue Peter, litty conversation. Which is great. But I received the medal. I had to go up, receive the medal, and have my photo taken with them, and then sit down again. So that was fantastic, and fantastic to hear everyone's stories as well. There's so many inspirational stories out there that people have really made a difference to. Really contributed, made a difference. So I felt very honoured to get the award, incredibly honoured, very privileged. I'm really, really lucky. And then we went on a bus, a tour around London on an open top bus. So that's really good. That was really fun. And then we had a Little's certificate evening celebration where you got your certificates and then said a few words. So they each in turn brought us up and said a few words. Tim Vincent, we did it in chat show style host, because it is, that was, I was thinking, they said that they would do something, so I got some words just in case but they actually did it through question and answer, which is kind of easier, because I wasn't reading off something and feeling that I just sort of did it, go with the flow type of thing. But I managed to get so I managed to say some words and receive my certificate, and it was just what a lovely day, and what a special day it was. So again, incredibly honoured to receive such an honour, and I put it by my name because they said you will be on the roll of honour. Fantastic. Wow. And that they encourage you to use it after your name, BCAE, and because of education sort of things. So they encourage you to use BCA after your name because they want you to feel special about it, and they know it's special. So that's incredibly fantastic. That's
well done. Congratulations. That
lovely.
Is such a big award, isn't it?
Thank you. I feel very honoured. I feel that I'm very lucky. I'm really lucky. I don't absolutely don't deserve anything.
I don't know.
Far more.
I'm just listening to what you were saying as a young girl when you were 7 and struggling with communication and saying that you couldn't speak. I think, is that right? That you struggled to speak? Yeah. And wanted to make friends, but ended up lashing out instead. And you talked about aggression and things, And then I think actually this is really hopeful, and you can see just how much you've moved on. I mean, obviously, clearly you've moved on, and to get that award at the very end, is absolutely fantastic, Rosalind.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you.
What's your future bringing? Have you got any ideas of what you're going to be doing next? Have you got any projects in line?
Oh, that's a good question. I'm not sure. I think I'll carry on with the work I'm doing. I'd love to do more presentations if possible, if that arises. So I'd love to do more of them and help.
Good.
Try and help as much as I can other people to really do it, and other professionals to help young people as well. If I can do that, like I got the support, so why wouldn't I try and help others? So yeah, and I want to, I don't know, I want to carry on with that. I want to carry on riding horses, like
Perfect.
do good hobby there, and
very
fantastic. I fairly recently got because I can drive. Actually, that's another achievement. Oh, I should say. I'll just say a bit about driving. Sorry, I always take longer to say these things than.
Fine, it's fine.
Oh, thank you. But driving, my parents sort of thought I wouldn't be able to drive. They weren't sure I would be able to drive because of like, you have to judge once, you have to look out for hazards, like different things. There's lots of things to driving. But I went for special needs assessment, and actually their words, not mine, I'm not boasting about, but their words were, I passed with flying colours. Wow, so that's fantastic. And I actually got to learn to drive and then I luckily passed my driving test first time. It's nice and sunny day, so no, it's good to have good weather, and it was luck. Yeah, I was very lucky to pass first time. And since then, it's given me more independence to drive to different places, and fantastic. And then fairly recently, me and my friend, my good friend from the stables, were talking about horse box driving. So in the horse world, you get horse boxes that you transport the horses to shows and things. You can do a variety of that, and I thought, oh, I kind of like a challenge. I'd like to give it a go. So I have. Well, I can drive legally. I can drive a 3.5-ton lorry, which is quite big in itself. So I only drive that. Obviously no bigger, because I'd have to go for lessons and a test, so I won't drive any bigger. But it's actually been fantastic, and I've got my friend. I drive to different shows, hire a horse box, and drive her and her horse to different shows, and been fantastic. Great challenge to have. So it's another little driving challenge I've done. So
that is amazing. Oh my God.
Hey, who knows for the future?
You'd be on the great big HGV ones in the end. Oh, brilliant. Well, thank you very much for sharing today. And
that's okay.
I think this is really good, because speaking as a parent as well, you know, my son, I was very worried about him driving, I know that, and he's now driving, but it's really useful to know that sometimes, you know, other people assessing and checking, because it is very scary when people start thinking about driving for other people on the road, not for yourselves, you know. Really good. But thank you. But you've actually got some fantastic achievements there that you've shared with us. Thank you so much, Rosalind. Thank you.
That's okay. That's absolutely fine.
Enjoy the rest of your summer.
Thank you
very much. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.